Hey everybody, it is Gary Vaynerchuk, and we are back with another episode of Die Hard Dialogue. You may notice that my tone and tenor is quite different from prior intros. This is 110% predicated on the fact that Sunday, my New York Jets had what is easily called a catastrophic and atrocious Sunday. I'm not in the mood. I'm not even interested in joking around with Jess about it. You know, not only did the Jets lose 54-13, which is on some high school shit, but number two, we lost our quarterback. I told AJ in the summer, like, I don't care if we go 0-17, just let the kid play all 17 games so he can develop, so we can get a sense, so we can build. We have been unable to do that. I will refrain from sharing my feelings on both of the hits, which I can't. The NFL can kiss my fucking ass. The subjectivity around roughing the passer has made it unenjoyable. The fact that 2 weeks prior, the Jets go to London, and on the opening drive, a tone-setting hit by Quincy Williams, where he actively and obviously tried to go to the side on the way down so he wouldn't land on Matt Ryan, but he drilled him because he's fucking fast and strong, is called roughing the passer, which then they score a touchdown and 17-0 before you blink. The fact that 2 weeks later in Foxborough, 2 hits aren't feeling all that great. And I'm fine with neither being a flag, but fuck. And so I don't even want to talk about last week in any shape or form whatsoever. It sucks. The Jets will now go 11 years without making the playoffs, longest run in the NFL. Nothing is going well for us Jet fans. And now we get to host what could arguably be called the hottest team in football. What an incredible win by the young Bengals. I'm a huge fan of their quarterback personally and what he's doing. And obviously the rookie wide receiver is out of this world. And it's unheard of for me to miss Jet home games, but fortunate for me, the game lands on Halloween, and I'm going to be very happy to do dad duties, and I'll watch every play like I always do, but I will not be in the stadium. And I don't blame the hardest of hardcore diehards, because it's just, we have potentially hit rock bottom. And so it sucks. That's where I'm at. Jess.
It does suck. It does suck, Gary. I feel for you, man. But now it's on to Cincinnati, right? Like you said. So just a quick reminder to everyone, this week, Joe Greene rookie card for our free-to-play listener league. So make sure you join that. But how about we just move on? We're not even going to talk about last week.
I will say this. The football cards that I've put up for my personal collection for the free-to-play league are going up in value. Football vintage rookie cards are starting to have a moment on eBay, and PWCC and Golden Auctions. A Terry Bradshaw rookie went bananas this Saturday. And so everybody listening, take advantage of the free league. It makes games more fun. I had a very fun moment. Actually, let's go to a more positive. So now I'm on tilt on Sunday. Tilt. Fight. I want to fight people. I want to hate people. I'm the bizarro version of my normal, happy, optimistic self. Then I decide to play basketball DraftKings and make a lineup, and I almost won $50,000. I won $2,000, but De'Aaron Fox just didn't do his normal thing against the Warriors, had he. But that was quickly offset by the fact that the Knicks lost to the Magic for no fucking reason either. Luckily, they won last night against the Sixers, breaking a 4-year slide. So basketball is going to take me out of this loom, I think, this year with my Knicks. But I've been talking a lot, and we have a tremendous guest who's probably in a tremendous mood, because only 5 minutes ago, he was rock bottom. You know, I can only imagine what he felt and all the Bengals Nation felt when they obviously had a season that gave them the number 1 pick. They took Joe Burrow. They're excited. And then he got hurt last year and out for the remaining year. And that must have been, and many were talking about bleeding into this year at the time. And so that must have been a devastating moment. But that's what the NFL is. Your fortunes can change quickly, because less than a year later, they might, I mean, I wouldn't blame somebody saying, why can't we go to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, Bengals 5-2. Let's bring in said guest, Bootsy Collins, music legend. And Gary, you're actually going to love this. Bootsy is producing the theme song for Music for Climate Justice as an NFT.
I love that, Boots.
Yeah,
I knew you would.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the show.
Oh, this is great, man. I haven't really had a chance to really talk about my Bengals in a long time because we've been really busy and the team wasn't doing so well and the character was way down and so I think we're on the uphill swing now. In fact, I know we are. It's like the leader. Burrows. I mean, that cat's confidence is like, it's just off the chain. And I think you need that. You need to see that kind of winning confidence. Not only is he playing very good right now, I mean, who knew what was going to happen after he came back from that devastating blow, and so that to me tells me that this team is on the way up.
I mean, this receiver, Jamar Chase, I thought was going to be a real player. I was hot on him. I was in the camp of being okay if the Jets took Zach, but I was also in the camp of, hey, has Sam really had the supporting cast? And boy, oh boy, we can trade this number 2 pick for a haul. Yes. And can we go out and get Kyle Pitts and Jamar Chase and, an offensive line? So seeing Kyle Pitts and Jamar Chase both accelerate the way they have, when you're in this negative mindset that I am as a Jets fan, and listen, and I just mentioned, I know Joe a little bit. We recruited him in my sports agency. I got to talk to him a little bit here and there. I really like the kid. I think you got someone good. The kid I like the most in the world in the league is Sam Darnold. As a human, I really know Sam. We recruited him and got even further, so I got to know him. And then obviously he became the Jets quarterback, and we became very good friends. He's obviously struggling the last 3 or 4 weeks as well. But the reality is that Bengals Nation has to be feeling real good, Boots.
Yeah, I mean, we're really pumped.
Have you been able to watch the games?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I might have missed one this year, but
what are you seeing besides the quarterback and receiver? What else? And Mixon can run the ball. Like, what else are you seeing?
I love Mixon, but I love the fact that Pirine, they both got 2 different ways of running, and the way they're built to run is very different. And I just love to see these 2 cats doing their thing out there as well. And man, it's just, it's a blessing to have these kind of, not only as players, but their confidence level changes, I think, the whole game. It brings everybody else up. And that in the past has been a problem because I really don't think we've had this kind of caliber of confidence. And I've been a Bengals fan ever since, but this kind of renewed confidence, they're coming out,
You think the bravado at the quarterback position from Burrow is even at a higher plane than you saw from Carson Palmer, Boomer Esiason, and maybe even Kenny Anderson?
Well, you know what? It's a different style. It's a whole different style, a different attitude. And I think that's what really makes the look real different. These young cats now, the Joe Burrows and these new, rookies that's coming in, they got a whole new mindset of how to play the game. They got a whole new rules. Yeah. And so you can't really compare, the different eras of game, a football game, but the players now just got a swag about them that's just, and they're so confident, even when they get hurt,
Yes. Did you like the Kenny Anderson reference? I thought that was a little flex of me of showing my football knowledge.
Yeah,
Oh,
you've got a very deep football knowledge.
Thank you, Jess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ken Anderson was excellent at the time, you know,
He,
in his,
he also had a tremendous mustache.
oh,
I got you with that, Bootsy. You like that one, huh?
you caught me off guard with that one.
Jesse, I see you want to come in. What do you got for us?
Well, what I was going to say is we're talking a lot about like swag and stuff here, but Bengals have a huge spread here. They're 10-point favorites over the Jets. So
On the road.
on the road. So Bootsy, are they swaggy enough to cover 10 points on the road?
I think, yeah, definitely. But the whole thing here, I think with the Bengals is they have to stay focused. That's the key. And don't take nobody lightly, because you can come right into playing the Jets and the Jets can just, you know, wear them out. And nobody would have thought like, wow, you know. So I think as long as they continue to keep that confidence and that attitude that they got now, they can just about beat anybody.
And Gary, do you think that like the difference maker is going to be if Zach Wilson's under center? If in
Zach's
terms
not.
of covering, that spread?
You mean, you know that he's out for 2 to 4 weeks, right?
No, I didn't.
So
So
he's
now
out for
I
2 to
do.
4 weeks. Yeah.
Well, then
so-
he's not going to be here
no.
under
Right.
center. And we can probably all say for sure that they're not going to cover that spread.
Well, listen, let me say this. I think Bootsy made a really interesting point. You know, the NFL is a wild ass league, right?
Yeah.
And let's not forget, and obviously their last 2 games, they did what they had to do against the Lions in the proper way. And this just miraculous. I mean, I couldn't feel better for Bengal fans to go to Baltimore and win that game that way against Baltimore. Like, I know that, right? Because that's a rival that's had more success in the last 20 years than you've had. And so that feels delicious.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
before we get too far, Jess, this is still a team that lost to the Bears 20-17. This is still a team that beat the Jaguars by 3, at home. So, it's not like we're talking, we see it every week. The Ravens look like world beaters, dismantling the Chargers, right? And then the following week, they get completely annihilated by these Bengals. I think the Jets are, it's an interesting thing, right? Obviously, the Jets will be home. Mike White looked efficient when he came in for Zach, right?
Yeah.
Like, they moved the ball a little bit. Look, I think the Bengals win this game 26-12, 26-10, 26-9. Third, CJ Mosley's back. I think you got to think about that. Clearly, the Jets missed him last week defensively. They were a totally different team, though they've been weird defensively. Like, it looks good, but it's really not. I do think the Bengals will have a lot of success with their tight end. I think the Jets in the middle struggle, and that kid's playing really well. I think the Bengals will cover here. I think 26-34 for the Bengals, 9-16 for the Jets, which makes me feel very comfortable that the Bengals will cover.
So there's a bet on the DK Sportsbook, Bengals over 3.5 touchdowns. It's plus 140.
And look, 4 touchdowns in an NFL game is hard. Like, they could dominate the game and have to settle for a goal or 2 here, like completely dominate the game, right? Win the game 27-3 on the road, but still fall short of 4. I actually think the under there is pretty delicious. 4, that's a lot to ask. So that's a lot to ask, Jess.
All right. We don't like that then.
Well, listen, I thought both teams would stay under 25 last week, and the Patriots doubled it by themselves. So,
right.
Boots, we need a prediction so we can move on with the show. What's the actual score of Sunday's game, sir?
I'm gonna say 24-6.
And I'm gonna say 29-9. And Jess, you get to make a prediction today.
I'm going to say 28-17. I think the Jets come out with a little fight here, back against the wall.
Right, kind of like full rock bottom, bounce back up.
Exactly. Like there's only one direction they can go, Gary.
I actually think it's going to go the other way. Even though, and by the way, I'm a fan of Coach Saleh, and I'm betting long on that. I just feel like this is going to be like more pain. You know, I feel like more pain is needed before the sun rises. And I think the Bengals are just young enough and haven't had enough success to not fall into the lull here. I think sometimes when you have veteran teams, believe it or not, mid-season, it's a funny counterpoint here. I think some veteran teams are so subconsciously thoughtful of a long season and have such an easy game on the schedule. This is a bad Jets team without their starting quarterback.
Right.
That some veteran teams could get caught in this situation because they're almost like subconsciously taking, like, let's make this an easy week, like in between a bye week and a real week kind of mentality. I don't think the Bengals even know how to think that way yet. They're too young, too fresh-eyed and bushy-tailed. I think they're just going to go full speed again.
All the way. You're all the way correct. They're going to attack this like,
But Bootsy, they might not be focused. Like you said, they got to stay focused. They might get a little unfocused. We got to be careful of that. They might be thinking about going out after the game. These youngsters want to hit the city, so they might get a little caught with the limelight.
Yeah. But I
don't know if you know this, Boots. They dress pretty risque on Halloween night here in New York City. Those boys might get a little distracted. Like you said, they need to stay focused.
But I think they will be. I think they will focus this game. And I think that's mainly their prior goal is to stay focused right now because the quarterback, Burrows, him and Chase, they are going to stay focused and everybody going to keep up with them.
So to just wrap it up, stay swaggy and focused.
Yes.
Sir. Thank you, my man. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Bootsy, I was going to say, we know you're super busy. We saw you're performing at the World Games in 2022 as well. So good luck with that. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much. God bless. All right.
All right. Okay, so now we're going to move on here. We're going to move on to Bucs at Saints. And we have our first repeat guest of the season, Gary. We have Cameron Lynch here. You guys can turn your cameras on. So we have Cam, we have Jay. You guys, Cam's on. Here we go. All right, so Cameron Lynch, everybody, he's been on the show, former NFL linebacker. And we have Jay Recher. He's the host of Beckles and Recher on WDAE in Tampa. Guys, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Jay, great to see you.
Bucs.
Cam, great to see you again. Jess, set us up.
Bucs at Saints. Bucs 5.5-point favorites on the road against the Saints. Over/under sitting at 49.5. Bucs minus 240 on the money line. Saints plus 195. Guys, what are we thinking here? Cam, let's start with you. You played in the NFL.
Yeah. It's gonna be a tight game. Bucs versus Saints. Like, imagine your rivalries. Your biggest rivalries, this is one of them. I've never liked the Saints growing up, right? But I respect them. Respect them fully because of a few people, right? Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill. So it's going to be exciting. Jameis is going to be battling his old team. So expect it to be a tight one, y'all.
All right, what's your take on this one, Jay?
I think because this game is happening on Halloween, that some kind of spooky, freaky things are going to happen. I mean, this is Jameis Winston going against his old team for the first time. This game has been circled on the calendar since the calendar was released months ago. I think something freaky is going to happen. Sean Payton has to get creative with the offense because...
Jay, when you say freaky, do you think like, for example, former two-time New York Jet Demario Davis, we blew it twice, Jess. Former two-time Jet Demario Davis might end Tom Brady's career? Like, would you say that freaky?
Whoa! I wouldn't go that far. We don't want to see.
You're not that politically incorrect. Okay.
Come on, Gary. Don't come on.
Yeah,
don't
Cam, just so you know,
Gary.
on the record, that is like people understand. There's Gary Vaynerchuk, the human being, and then there's Jets Gary. And I don't think I ever read Jekyll and Hyde, but I understand the concept.
Yeah.
Let there be no confusion. under most circumstances, not only would I adore Tom Brady, I would love him. He's competitive, my favorite trait. By all accounts, and I have more information than many, just given the way I run, he's an incredibly good dude. He's the greatest winner in the sport that I love the most. But since this is Jets Gary land, the only thing I'm hoping for from a Scoopy scenario is former two-time Jets linebacker Demario Davis, Joe Theismann-esque ends Tom Brady's career. That's how I feel. That's what I am. That is who I am in Jets land. It's not real. I don't want to be judged for it because I'm embarrassed by it, but let there be no confusion. When I heard spooky, that is where my brain went.
So you wanted a Russell Wilson and the Aaron Donald type accident to happen? Is that kind of what you want over there?
No. I want Joe Theismann, Lawrence Taylor. I want Demario Davis to land on Tom Brady's leg in a way that never allows Tom Brady to play football ever again.
Well, that would certainly give us some great content for Monday on our show for sure.
Yes, I would definitely go viral for something I wouldn't be proud of. I'd have to spend all week being like, no, that's sports, Gary. That's not really me. Please don't judge me.
Where does that come from, Gary?
It comes from, it's funny, my man. I've been thinking about this a lot because it happened this Sunday where we absolutely was a top 15. This is what's so sad about Jets life. A top 15. Think about what I'm saying. A top 15 rock bottom moment. So not number one, a 54-13 loss where you're starting quarterback. Oh, by the way, first franchise to draft 2 quarterbacks in the first 3 picks within 3 NFL drafts, my New York Jets, goes out and is hurt after 2 ridiculously questionable hits in a row with 0 flags against, the Patriots, the team that created this feelings towards Tom Brady, seemingly a good human being. So I was asking myself what it means. It actually, if you know anything about me in real life, I'm so happy in real life. I'm so grateful. I have such lucky perspective. Lucky because I was born with certain DNA. Lucky because I had the greatest human be my mother to parent me. Lucky because I came to this country with nothing and had no chance of entitlement and, all the things that can derail. Prosperity is always a very dangerous game to adversity. But adversity is the foundation of success. And so I have this incredible life. And when I watch people around racial issues, sexist issues, social issues, political issues, just real life, act the way they act, it's incredibly foreign to me because it comes from a place of anger, insecurity, self-hurt, hurt people, that kind of thing, right? And I spend 98% of my life pumping out content of accountability and happiness and kindness. And I feel like because I'm a happy person, that negativity is much louder than positivity in our society. And I have a responsibility to pump out important, good content and take on the judgment, ridicule, hate, trolling that has to do with somebody like myself putting themselves so out there. What's fascinating though is, Jets Gary is what allows me to have real sympathy for real society. Because when I say what I'm saying, I mean it. I'm not here for show. I want players. Think about how inappropriate that is. I represent 45 NFL players. These are real human beings. I'm not logically misunderstanding, but I can't control my chemicals. This is 40 years of resentment. And, I always say, if you don't feel like you're in control, you can lead to real unhappiness, right? And that's why I love accountability so much, that if you realize you're actually in control of life, like you can move to Sweden if you don't like America. You can stop talking to your mother if she's poisonous, or control how much you speak to her. So the problem is I got caught. I don't know if you guys know, but fan is short for fanatic. I treat football the way people treat religion and politics. I'm caught. I'm stuck, right? And now, really, I'm obviously going very macro here. It's probably good for a lot of people to hear because maybe it helps one person think about this thing. Luckily, I'm not fighting to get out of it because unlike if I was stuck in politics or social issues or religion, I would understand that's real life and like, fuck, I better do something about this before I go to the ground resentful or hurt, right?
Yeah.
Sports, I'm conscious enough to know this is silly stuff, and we're very lucky to be fanatical about something that really at the end, when I get into a tiff like I did last night, I think, or the night before with a Buffalo Bills fan, it will always end with me saying things like, by the way, like, I wish you so much good. And like, you know, and it's already sucky for you because you live in Buffalo. And then of course I have to then again, double apologize because that was the fake apology.
So does Brady
anyway,
own a part of the Buffalo Bills and the Jets, similar to
well,
how
the Bills,
Aaron Rodgers owns
this Bills
the
guy
Bears?
decided to get like all testy. And I'm like, brother, you've sucked for 20 years. Like, I'm very happy that you've been good for 15 months, but calm the fuck down, Buffalo.
In the words of LeBron, humble yourself because you were just at home last year.
Yeah, I mean, like the Buffalo Bills didn't make the playoffs for 20 years. It's like the Jets made 6 playoff runs, 2 AFC championships during that time. He was trying to act like we're the same, fuck him. Anyway, back to this game.
Well, I was gonna say, Gary, you must be wishing the Saints well this week then, because Tom Brady is.
Here's
on the
what's
other
so
side
funny.
here.
Even though I made this comment, I feel very different towards Tom Brady now. I don't hate him that much. It's crazy. I kind of like weirdly, not that I root for him, but like I watched the Super Bowl last year. I don't know if you know this, but I've not watched the last 3 or 4 Super Bowls the Patriots have been in. I've missed 4 Super Bowls. I know nothing about the Falcons Patriots game. Nothing. Know nothing about it. I know the data, but I can't tell you a single play. I think Edelman snuck in overtime. Like, I've seen nothing of that game. And that's the best for me. But I do feel different now. I like DeMario. He's a former Jet. I like Jameis. We've DM'd a bunch. I just like him. I root for him. Like, you know, kind of one of those things you want to see somebody do well. If you Google Alvin Kamara and Gary Vaynerchuk in Google right now, you'll see that I took Alvin Kamara to his first football game when he was at the University of Tennessee.
Nice.
He signed with Vayner Sports. He was one of the first kids we signed. We were very little company. In my opinion, in hindsight, we didn't do enough things to put Alvin in a position to not lead. So he left us. So actually that hurt, but I can't help it because I love Alvin so much. I think he's the best. So, you know, the Saints and Tampa are funny franchises for me because I'm an 80s baby and they were atrocious in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like the 80s, my first decade of football watching, I thought the Saints and Tampa were the 2 worst. The Saints and Tampa were the Browns and Lions. And now I have to say it, the Jets now are, you know, the Jets did such a good job from 97 to 2011 in those 14 years, 6 playoffs, 2 AFC championship games, that we kind of pulled ourselves out of that shit franchise world. Now we're squarely there. Now it's us, the Lions and the Jags. The Browns are out.
That's how the Bucs
The Browns are out. I know how the Bucs were. The Bucs. But men, this is where I get real fucking salty. They were atrocious, like the worst. Didn't make the playoffs in the first decade that I watched football, either team. The worst. The Saints were the worst. Yeah. But as we sit here today, not only do both of these men have a Super Bowl appearance, 40-year fanatic, no Super Bowl appearances, 4 AFC championship losses. But not only do they have Super Bowl appearances, Jess, they both have Super Bowl wins. And as a matter of fact, one of them has 2. So I'm very sad, mad, but this is what's so funny about a childhood. Still to this day, even though the modern success is clear for both franchises, I still see them the way I saw them when they were who I was as a kid. And so I still feel a little underdogness for them and kind of weirdly cheer for them a little something. But the Tom Brady factor is too big here. I'm absolutely rooting for the Saints. I don't know if that's what I'm going to predict in the score. Men, break down the game for us.
Yeah, Jay, you said Winston has the revenge game going on, and the Bucs secondary is still banged up. It's like everyone's missed a game. Like, what does that mean for the Saints offense? Is that something spooky going to happen?
Well, I think that the Saints are probably going to jump out to an early lead. That's what I mean by spooky. And it could be on some kind of double reverse, flea flicker, you know, Taysom Hill craziness out of the backfield where they jump out to a 14-0 lead. But Good news on the home front for the Buccaneers. Richard Sherman returns to practice today, Jamel Dean and D. Delaney. So they're getting 3 guys in the secondary back today. So that could spell some issues for Jameis Winston and the guys with the New Orleans Saints offense for sure.
And Cam, from like a defensive standpoint, right? Saints do have experience keeping the Bucs limited. So do you see them giving Brady trouble here?
A lot of trouble. Brady is going to be in for it. Sean Payton probably circled the Buccaneer this year like he does every year. Like, hey, guys, we're going after these cats. So Brady's going to be pressured. So Tristan Wirfs, he's going to have to get his hands ready. I know he locked down Khalil Mack last week. So he's going to do it again this week, I would say. He got Cam Jordan coming across him. So it's going to be quite a matchup. And one of the best players that I've ever played against, Alvin Kamara, and those guys like Taysom Hill. A lot of respect for those guys. They're going to show out and make it tough for the Bucs.
I don't know what to think here. So obviously I watched the entire Saints Seahawks game. Ask me why, Jess.
Why, Gary?
Because the New York Jets have the Seattle Seahawks first round pick in this upcoming draft.
Thank you, Jamal Adams.
So you can imagine the Saints put me in a very good mood.
Yeah.
And obviously I have quite a bit of experience with Geno Smith in Seattle. So I watched that entire game, and this might just be a game where there's too much firepower in Tampa. That's my concern here. I'm just not sure that even if things get spooky and they're home and Alvin does his thing, and there's a lot to like about the Saints, especially from my perspective this year. I watch every game. I'm like, oh, that's good. They have that. That's good. So after, I'm in a place where every team looks pretty damn good to me. But I just think this is a firepower game. The problem with Tom Brady, this is now a massive compliment. This is what I understand about him. Because if Jess said to me right now, let's have a coffee drinking contest right now, Gary, right now, my chemicals in my brain and my blood would trigger in the weirdest way, everybody. I would turn into some different version of myself. And that's what I think Tom Brady has. There is no scenario, even at 112 years old, that he is now, that he goes into this game saying, okay, we have, I don't know the Bucs schedule. We have a bye next week. We have a good team. I want to be thoughtful about the playoff run. These are not things that go through his head. He doesn't have any other gear than he's done what I think I've done to myself. I think many people, the Michael Jordan cut sophomore year story is not real. Meaning it's real, but the context is lost, right? Tom Brady with the Michigan 6-round thing has it locked and loaded, just like I have it locked and loaded by being an immigrant and not having a lot of stuff. He will always be the underdog. That dude could have 77 fucking rings on every part of his body, and he will walk into that season season 90, with the thought of he's the underdog. And I think that's the problem this week. I know I went very macro. I know it's been a very emotional episode, very different. Jess, this is full 54-13 Gary episode. But I think that's the problem here. And because of that, I'll predict first. I'm going 29-16 Tampa.
Okay, Jay, score prediction?
Gary, that's a great point because they won 38-3 last week against the Bears. And what did Brady say yesterday? He goes, we should have scored 50. I mean, who thinks that? Who thinks that?
I'll tell you who thinks it.
30. It's Tom Brady, man.
I'll tell you who thinks it. I sold 5 drawings at Christie's auction as a fucking artist for $1 million a couple weeks ago. And 13 seconds after the auction, because I was in San Diego on business, I closed my laptop and didn't even feel like it happened. And I'm not saying that was not a humble brag. That is not, I'm cool. I'm just telling you that I understand because I live it. That's the problem in this week where I don't know. We just had the Bengals. I'm bringing up quarterbacks that I think are incredibly good players through the years, whomever. You can even bring up people that won Super Bowl rings. I'm not sold that that's how Eli's brain works. I don't think that's how Peyton's brain works, or Roethlisberger, or Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers is a little weirdly competitive, but I get it. That's the problem for the Saints this week. That's why the Patriots were always 13-3, 14-2. The greatest part about the NFL is every game matters. Tom Brady is a very unique character that I think actually fully 100% of every minute of his career took it that way. And I think other players have other gears, which I don't think are wrong. I just think they're different. And I think that's the problem this week.
There is not a complacent bone in that 44-year-old avocado tequila infused body for sure. Bucs 31-7. I got Bucs 31-17. So not far off from what you got, Gary.
All right.
Yeah.
Cameron, yeah.
Yeah. So that reminds me, like, Steph Curry has that same mentality. I'm going to put up 25 points in the first quarter, and I'm probably going to get 50 points tonight, 70 points tonight, right? Like, he aims for the sky there. So my prediction is going to be 24-21. The game's will be decided by 3 points. The reason why I say that is because this is a division rival, so it counts for 2, right? And Sean Payton's not going to be playing around this week. Sean Payton's not going to be playing around. Mike Evans is going to have a tougher day this week than last week. So they're going to have to go to Goblin. They have to go to Antonio Brown, the running back. So it's going to be 24-21. Alvin Kamara is going to go off. Jameis is going to get his, and I think it's going to be a tighter game than we think.
Interesting. Jess?
Bucs 30, Saints 20. The Bucs offense is averaging 10 points more per game than the Saints. So I think they do it again.
Jess, let's let these two handsome men off and let me spend the last few minutes trying to figure out what I'm going to boost because I'm salty. I'm angry. Guys, 54-13. Do you understand how hard it is to score 54 points in the NFL?
Sorry. I'm sorry you have to go through that, man.
No, I don't even think you understand. We have the longest playoff drought. The only good season in that playoff drought, we became one of the only teams that didn't make the playoffs at 10-6. So that hurt. Fun fact, I went to all 16 games that year. We decided to take Jamal out. Here's where the whole thing broke. And why if Mike McCagnon ever becomes a GM in the NFL again, I'm going to lose my mind in hilarity of laughing. And I'm sorry to all Mike, his family and friends that have to hear this, but let's just break it down because I've got real resentment issues. We don't have a quarterback because the Fitz thing after that nice season breaks down. He wants more money. We decided to go in a different direction. We don't have one. We have the fucking 5th pick in the draft. We decided to sign Josh McCown, which I loved because he's a coach in uniform, which I love. We decided not to draft a quarterback in the first round that year. And we take Jamal Adams, who's a safety and really a linebacker. And I said it at the time, and I ended up being more right than I even could have imagined. Okay.
He can blitz. Yeah.
By the way, fun fact, before I'm done with this story, we take Marcus May in the 2nd round. We are an NFL franchise in 2018 or whatever year we're talking about now, 15, whatever, 9, 17, 16, that took back-to-back safeties in the NFL draft, in the modern NFL, where you can't touch an offensive player, okay? Not against safeties. I love safeties. We're probably going to take the fucking kid from Notre Dame this year, right in my mouth. But anyway, the story's not done, Jay. Cam, Jess, I just want to explain who the 7th and 10th pick in that NFL draft were. Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. The fuck are we doing?
Cam Newton's still available, so I mean.
I love Cam.
Wait, I have a question though. Cam, you were on Syracuse in 2013 when they lost 56-0 to Georgia Tech. So were you in that game?
Yes, and I lived in Georgia, so my whole family went to that game. So Gary talks about losing. Trust me, being at Syracuse, we lost to Jameis 52-0. They played hangman against us. So Gary, my advice to you as a player, I've been through it. I'm a professional at this. The 24-hour rule. I know it's fandom. I get it.
Listen, brother. Here's the problem with being a fan. Here's the problem. I know you can do it. You know why? I get an email that says we lost an $11 million account at VaynerMedia. It takes me 4 minutes. Fuck 24 hours. When I do on the field, I'm fucking an unemotional fucking destroying robot. I am an unemotional destroying robot on my field. The game of entrepreneurship, which is why I'm going to go to the Hall of Fame. Fanatic life, I'm still feeling Johnny Johnson's 98-yard run on Sunday Night Football in 1994 against the Bears, where he got tackled at the 1 and we couldn't punch it in.
Bless you. Bless you.
Fanatic life. Fuck. All right, boys.
It's
We'll talk to
real.
you soon. It's very real.
I got it.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Gary.
Cheers.
Thanks,
guys.
Thanks, Jesse.
Great to have you on.
Jess, I got to
Peace
boost
out.
something before we get out of here. Help me here.
Yeah.
Give me some Jets boosts potential.
We don't have a lot of Jets boosts on here. Let's talk. We do have some for this game. So first to 10 points, Saints are plus 150.
Hold on.
for
Are there
that.
no props for the Jets?
Right now, no.
Okay, go ahead on this game.
First to 10 points, Saints are plus 150. Neither team to score 25 points is plus 250. Saints to score first is plus 115.
That's the one, because the others are just impossibly hard. So this would
Yeah.
be the one I have to go with. Let's boost Saints score first at home. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, plus
Uh,
115. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Let's boost the shit out of it. By the way, everybody listening, I think I've lost 3 straight boosts. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
What just happened here? Was that therapy, Jess?
I
what
think
just
it
happened?
was therapy. Did you black out a little? Was it like, is part
Yes,
of the fandom
yes.
like a
This is-
rage blackout?
This is Wednesday at noon that we're filming this.
I know.
Think about
You-
3:30 to 5 p.m. Sunday.
Do you just put your phone on do not disturb? Like,
No, that's the problem. I get sports muscles. I go looking for fights.
oh, well, do you feel better after this?
A hair.
Well, then it is therapy.
Yeah.
So
What was-
just had a little good therapy session, a little Die Hard dialogue therapy session. And now you feel a hair better.
Thank you, Jess.
Yeah.
Bye,
And I
everyone.
can't believe I missed the Zach Wilson news, but now here we are. I'm sorry you had to break that to me.
That's okay.
Let's talk about really quick again, Listener League DFS free to play contest. It's exclusive for the show, $1,000 in prizes this week. A Joe Greene card from Gary's personal collection. Check the links on Twitter for Gary's social, for DK social. And like Gary said, those cards are having a moment. So take it seriously. All
Take it seriously.
right, Gary,
Cheers.
I feel for you, man. All right.
Oh, I am really, really in a bad place in football land.
I know.
Sucks. Just sucks. Like when I tell you 54-13 would have been just fine, it is quote unquote what it is. I just can't believe the kid's not going to play 17 games this year.
Yeah, that was sort of
I-
like your one thing.
The only, do you know how sad it is to ask for just that and you can't get that?
Yeah, I honestly can't.
I think the only other thing, to be fair, the only other thing I said was 3-14, 4 and 13. Like, don't go 0-17 because then the kid could get like rattled. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
but I'm not even in the mix. I mean, it's fucking unbelievable.
Do you
Anyway.
think it's maybe better that no, I'm not saying I'm trying to look on the bright side
Yes,
for you.
yes. There
His
is
confidence.
no. I'm not worried about that per se. I do look. You look at Patrick Mahomes. You look at Aaron Rodgers. You say to yourself, are there benefits to being on the sideline, to watch, to see it? And he hasn't had the luxury of that, even in preseason, this, that. So do I believe that missing 2 to 4 games could give him a perspective from the sideline and the film room that could, runs through my mind.
Okay.
All right. Cheers.
Okay.
Steph, keep
All right.
keep all that for the podcast, all of it.
Gotcha.
Cheers. Bye, everyone.
Age and eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/marketplace for details. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in Illinois, New Jersey, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wyoming. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 in New Hampshire and Colorado. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 1-888-532-3500 in Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona, or call and text Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee. Available to play in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia only. Must be 21 years or older, or 18 plus in New Hampshire and Wyoming. For entertainment purposes only. No results guaranteed. Void where prohibited. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full details. Odds and lines are subject to change.